Hey, I'm Dr. Barry. In this short video, I want to talk with you about a diet that you may have heard about in the media lately. To a lot of people, this sounds like a crazy diet option, but thousands of people are deriving multiple benefits from this diet. And so in this short video, let's discuss the 5 benefits of a carnivore diet. There are thousands of people who are eating a carnivore diet now, and actually thousands of people who have been eating a carnivore diet for decades. A carnivore diet is when you eat only animal-based foods. So that could be meat, that could be organ meat, that could be dairy, that could be eggs. Everything you eat comes from an animal except for the salt that you add to your food, which is good for you. You need to add salt. That's a good thing. And then maybe you drink some coffee or tea or something like that. But otherwise, every single thing that goes in your mouth is either an animal product or water. And so that sounds a little bit extreme, but let's talk about some benefits that I've heard about from thousands of people. I consider the carnivore diet to be a subset of the ketogenic diet. Keto is very low carb. Carnivore is very, very low carb, essentially as close to zero carb as a diet can be. And I think part of its strength and part of its power comes from the super low carb part of the diet. But then I think another part of the power of carnivore comes from the fact that some people, not all people, but some people are very, very sensitive or even allergic to things that are found in plants, in vegetables. And when they remove those things from their diet, either for the short term or for the long term, their health improves dramatically. I think that it's completely fine and appropriate and natural and healthy to eat a carnivore diet for the rest of your life. I also think it's also perfectly fine and ancestrally appropriate to eat a real whole food keto diet and then do 1 to 3 month carnivore cycles throughout the year. I think both of those things mimic the way we've lived and eaten on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. And so I think you're going to derive benefits from either one or the other. Some people will do better with one and not the other. My experience, I have been a carnivore now for about 13 or 14 months. And I started out as just a 1-month challenge. I was going to do carnivore, this crazy diet. And at the end of that month, I felt so much better that I decided to do another month. And at the end of each month, I keep tacking on another month because I feel my very best when I'm eating a fatty, red meat heavy carnivore diet. And so I'm not saying you should do this, but I am saying you should consider this and look into this, especially if the diet you're currently eating is not giving you the health benefits, both physical and mental, that you'd like. If this sounds like a topic that interests you, I'm always making videos like this. Please consider clicking the subscribe button and the little bell right beside it so that every time I have a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first to know. In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 benefits that I've heard about from hundreds, if not thousands of people, both in person as patients and online as online friends. And I'm going to give you a bonus benefit at the end. And then at the very end of this video, I'm going to tell you about multiple different resources. Facebook groups, blogs, websites that you can actually sign up for, join for free, and learn about all the amazing benefits that some people are gleaning from the carnivore diet. When a patient tells me, so let's talk about evidence. There is no evidence in the world that proves that any diet is the proper human diet. That there is no research that proves that plant-based is the best diet or that animal-based is the best diet. All of the nutrition research we have out there is either anecdotal or it is epidemiological. It is food frequency questionnaires that are then used to look at data observationally. There is no randomized control research that proves that vegan, vegetarian, keto, carnivore, any of these diets are the proper way that a human should eat and are the healthiest. There's just no research out there. And so we're left with falling back on either observational research studies or anecdotes. And an anecdote is when one person says, hey, I did this and I got better. And so I've been practicing medicine for almost 20 years now. And so I've heard many anecdotes come from patients For example, I had a patient who said, my grandmother used to make an ointment out of tree frog toe jam. And when I rub that on whatever gets better. So that's an anecdote. That's an N equals 1. And you don't put a lot of faith in that because quite likely tree frog toe jam doesn't have any medicinal qualities whatsoever. She believes in it. Her grandmother made it. That we have the placebo effect going there. And so therefore you don't have to start catching tree frogs and collecting their toe jam. It's probably not going to help you. But here's the thing. When you start having hundreds of anecdotal cases, or even thousands of anecdotal cases saying, hey, when I eat this way, this happens. When you have 1 or 2 people saying that, you don't pay that any attention. But as a practicing physician and even as a researcher, when the anecdotes start numbering in the thousands and they all kind of say the same thing, you should probably look into that, and you should start looking to design some randomized or some controlled trials to look into that way of eating, because there may be something to that. And so currently in the carnivore community, there are no randomized controlled research studies, or really no observational studies that look at just a meat-only diet. So we have to fall back on the anecdotes. And I think that we have enough thousands and even tens of thousands of anecdotes now that we should pay this some attention. Now let's talk about the benefits. Benefit number 1 is for skin conditions. I have had literally thousands of people share their story about how their skin conditions, and by skin condition, I mean acne, I mean eczema, I mean psoriasis, I mean skin tags, and I'm talking about acanthosis nigricans. All of these skin conditions get dramatically better when you're eating as close to a 0-carb diet as you can eat, which is a carnivore diet. There are multiple people who have reached out to me, both in the clinic and online, who said, I thought that carnivore challenge you did was crazy, but after I did it for a month or 2 or 3 or 6, all of a sudden I have no acne, or my skin tags all fell off, or my eczema got dramatically better. That's the kind of anecdotes that I've heard in the thousands about skin conditions when it comes to eating a carnivore diet. Number 2 is joint inflammation. It can be any joint in your body, and the joint inflammation can be caused by a diagnosis of degenerative joint disease or osteoarthritis. The joint pain can come from rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. It can come from gout. Yes, eating lots of fatty red meat can actually help your gout. Some people who have reached out and said, my ankylosing spondylitis, the symptoms of it are dramatically better when I eat a fatty meat heavy diet. And so if you have any of these joint conditions, I would seriously consider giving carnivore a try for 1 to 3 months and see what happens. Number 3 is gut conditions. Now, a huge percentage of people who are eating carnivore now are eating a carnivore diet because they found that either their chronic constipation, their irritable bowel syndrome, their irritable bowel disease, their Crohn's disease, or their ulcerative colitis got dramatically better. I'm not saying that these conditions are cured. I'm just saying that the symptoms are 50, 75, 90% better when these people eat a carnivore diet. So if you have any of these gut conditions, you might give this a try for 1 to 3 months and see what happens. Number 4 is fat loss. If you qualify as obese or morbidly obese, there's no diet that I've found that reverses that quicker than keto. And as I said earlier, carnivore is a very, very low carb subset of the ketogenic way of eating. And so if your current diet that you're eating, if you're not having as much fat loss as you like, then I would definitely give the carnivore diet a 3-month trial and see what happens. The way this works is the carnivore diet, much like the ketogenic diet, exactly like the keto diet actually, it hacks your hormones, your insulin, your leptin, your ghrelin, your thyroid hormones, your testosterone, and your human growth hormone. It puts all of them in the sweet spot so that you can burn the maximum amount of fat. You burn it as energy, but then you're also burning it out off your belly and off your booty. You can't go wrong with that. Number 5 is brain function. So many thousands of people have told me that their mental clarity, their motivation, their ability to think through and to stay stably focused on a task is much, much better with the carnivore diet. I've also had thousands, and this is the other big thing that people come to carnivore. If they have anxiety, if they have depression, if they have OCD, if they have ADD, ADHD, and then even the parents of children with severe autism, all of these people notice that their symptoms get dramatically less severe when they're eating a carnivore diet. And so this is not just 1 or 5 or 10 people. This is thousands of people who are reporting this benefit. And with that many anecdotes, we probably ought to give this a serious look. Now, the bonus benefit is if you have metabolic syndrome, if you have pre-diabetes, if you have type 2 diabetes, if you have insulin resistance, we're finding out that really all these conditions are basically hyperglycemia and hyperinsulinemia chronically. And so the diet you're currently eating gives you high blood sugar and high blood insulin levels for a large percentage of your day. You're not going to be able to reduce any inflammation with that kind of diet, and you're not going to be able to burn any meaningful amount of fat with that kind of diet unless you're miserably starving yourself every single day for the rest of your life. And so if you have any of those conditions, I would highly recommend a 3-month trial of the carnivore diet to see how that goes. Now, in the show notes below, I have linked Facebook pages. There's 2 Facebook pages, one that has over 50,000 members, another that has over 20,000 members. I've linked to a couple of blogs. I've linked to a YouTube channel. I've linked to a couple of books that are about the carnivore diet that you can check out and see if this thing might be something you want to try for a month, or something you want to try for a year, or something you want to try for the rest of your life. Now, if you know someone suffering from any of the conditions I talked about in this video, please consider sharing this video with them on your social media, in an email, in a text message, on your WhatsApp. By sharing, you help me reach thousands of more people who may never have heard of this diet and who might continue suffering for the rest of their life. All they have to do is try this and their suffering improves. You just help them have a better life. Also, if my videos on this channel have helped you improve your health in some way, please consider clicking on the Patreon link down below. You can sign up very quickly and throw me a buck or two, and it helps me have more time and more resources to make videos just like this. It helps me have the time and the resources to travel and speak, maybe in your hometown, but that's how you can help me if you'd like to. All right, guys, this is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.